Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kudandaro, your favorite podcast. Today we have the super smart, very articulate, and also high opinionated brother who also happens to be our Zim Mukuasha. I'm talking about Nota Baloyi.
Yeah.
I hope I say that right.
Yeah.
AKA Nota, AKA La Vida Nota. Mukwasha.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Why I refer to you as Mukwasha because
that's like what you call what is it?
Mkwenyana.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Nota, for those who don't know, is married.
So it's not just a Japreza song.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
No, that's great. So Nota happens to be married to Berita, for those who don't know.
I was shocked. I was shocked when I
told Nicolette, and then she was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, that's why the guy's got a keen interest in Zimbabwe."
Yeah. Well, I mean that's her artist name, but obviously her name is Guguletu.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love how he just melts down because we know Nota when we get to the real stuff is out there, but when you speak about Berita, it's just like her name is Guguletu. I'm like, who's this guy?
Yeah, obviously because the artist name and the person is two different. Well, yeah, I mean,
I want to know how you met. Yeah, you're not going to run away from this. Sorry, I want to know.
It was arranged.
Okay,
but I think we met a couple of times.
Okay.
Where, I don't know, maybe we didn't really speak, but we ended up meeting and, yeah, we got along.
No, that's not an explanation, Nota. I'm not going to let you... You always have something to say.
No, I mean, yeah.
Two more sentences.
I think mutual friends conspired to bring us together. They just thought, these two people would complement each other. Yeah.
Okay.
And then tell me something.
So we were introduced and... Yeah, and then we were left to our devices.
and you clicked, as the saying goes.
Okay.
And tell me, of all the Zim food that Gugu has prepared for you, which one is your favorite one?
I don't know if it's Zim food, but kale, I think.
Yeah, that's Zim food.
Kale.
Okay. With beef?
Yeah, I guess.
Signature dish. It's a signature dish.
I'm not too sure what our signature dish is. But let me tell you something. I'm the type of person that enjoys every single meal that's made by my wife. So I don't have a favorite meal that she's made. Even when she asks me, okay, so what? I'm like, but I like everything you make. I don't know if that's a wrong thing or something.
No.
Okay.
No, no, it's you just like whatever's made. Oh, food, nice.
And it's nice. And you're like, okay. Okay. One last question about you and Berita before we get into the serious stuff. Did you have a traditional or a white wedding? I don't see a ring. So I'm
We haven't had our wedding yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had the lobola negotiations over Zoom.
Okay. Oh, wow. They made it so easy for you on Zoom.
Nah, I don't think so.
Really?
Did you have to do the whole thing on Zoom?
Nah, I don't know, but they put everything on mute until you pay money or something like that.
So what? So the Vulamulomo you had to, and then they unmute.
Yeah,
what?
then they unmute.
What?
So Vulamulomo was
just chill. They just look at you, and then you guys are like, you guys are on mute. You are on mute.
They're like, yeah, pay for it.
And then uncle sends
pay the unmute money.
Oh wow! Wow. I never heard about that, but that is so cool.
Then you have to pay money for the video for them to show the video.
To show the face?
Yeah, video.
Wow.
You need video, It's a whole entire process.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but my sister was in charge of that situation. So my sister is she's my big sister.
Yeah.
But I trust her to represent me well. So she represented me well, but
yeah,
she cost me an arm and a leg.
Okay.
She was not good at negotiating.
I think she was trying to brag.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you had rands, dude. You had rands, and they were charging you in dollars, right?
I think she was trying to brag. That's the problem. I think my sister was trying to say, "Oh, we have money.
We have money."
Ish.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Maybe that's the one thing maybe I should have had but I don't have an older brother. I've only got a younger brother. So
Okay.
Is that one of the things that you hate about Zimbabwe?
What?
Is there anything that you hate about Zimbabwe?
Nah, nothing. Nothing. I actually love Zimbabwe. I actually have been there once.
Okay.
I've been to Bulawayo.
Yeah.
It was nice to walk in the streets of Bulawayo, no one bothering me.
Yeah.
It was sad to have like people like lying in the streets. You know what I mean? But like that's the same thing I felt when I went to the United States for the first time. Like except it was worse there. They were like crackheads and all on drugs and like zombies. Like, and there was like hundreds of them. You know. So yeah, worse than anything I've ever seen in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in Africa we take care of our people. We don't, just allow our family members to be out in the streets. So yeah, I mean, that was nice walking around in the city, seeing the monuments. But I mean, like the buses are from 1950,
Of course.
and like
wow,
in the
Nota.
1950s, that's when like the laws were changed in the United States to enforce like seat belts in cars and everything else. So just like from a safety perspective, the buses are from pre-seat belts enforcement. It's like,
Like ketchup.
We call them chicken buses.
Yeah, no, the problem with Zim is that, the Reserve Bank was owned by the government, and the government just decided to print money. So you've got the unfortunate distinction of being one of 3 countries that have gone through hyperinflation. That's Lebanon, that's Venezuela, Zimbabwe. And it's a devastating thing to go through. So you've also got the unfortunate distinction of having a male population that has all suffered from depression due to financial loss. That is a very scary thing.
Yeah.
It's a very scary thing. I mean, like men who've gone through like war trauma and stuff like that, but like that sort of financial depression is yeah, it's taxing.
Real, yeah.
It's taxing because it also leads to a sort of ethical degradation. Like people feel like the world is against them, so they can do whatever for survival. So I guess I'm empathetic to that situation because fortunately South Africa will never go through that because our Reserve Bank is privately owned, thankfully.
For now.
And mostly German owned. Nah.
Never go there.
No, there's no way as the South African public will allow our government to take over
then take
the
over.
What? We don't want to go through hyperinflation.
Of
Right.
course, yeah.
Yeah, I think
But
the
what
worst
happens when you
inflation
take
will
the
get
land, though?
No, I mean land, what is the point of it? Because even in Zimbabwe it's 99-year leases. It's not like you keep the land. The land you
You
die
rent
and
it
you leave
out.
it behind. No, you die and you leave it behind. It's about the value that you create on the land. That's what's valuable. The land, I mean, what is it? It's something that you use. That's it. It's for usage. It's not for ownership. Because you can't own land forever.
It's just one resource.
It's a resource that, should be used by everybody. You know what I mean? Those who find it useful should make it useful, derive value for it, and then share that amongst the people. You know what I mean? It's very easy to distribute that. So this whole entire thing of like, we want to secure tenure, we want to secure ownership and everything else because that's going to secure foreign investment is a farce, number one. That's just for people to like, it's for corporations basically. Because if all businesses were human owned, right? A human being dies, right? And then their family would inherit the business. But like if you got now these corporations that are owned by the markets, people die all the time. COVID killed, however, 7 million people, 6 million people, 1 million people in the States. And less people than cigarettes killed in a year as well. But
So wait, so if I'm getting you right, Nota,
Yeah.
you're saying the issue of land ownership or the land reform here is irrelevant?
it's a
or-
political tool. It's
Okay.
like, it's a thing that we should throw at you. It's about land usage. It's not really about land ownership. Like, I mean, what are you going to do with the land? Let's say there's opportunities. Okay, there's flooding now in KZN. The weather is not... Now you still want to own that land? No, you don't want to own that land. If you're using that land while it's useful, you can own things like Bitcoin. Yeah, you travel to America, you still got your Bitcoin in your wallet. You know what I mean? Those are things you can own. Things that you can take with you.
Yeah.
Things that you can carry with you. Your diamond ring, you can own that. You carry that with you. You understand? But now, owning a piece of land, you can't take that anywhere.
People invested in here.
No, you can use it
Yeah.
to derive value. Yes.
If you can.
No, you can always. Right now, this land is being used because there's a studio here, everything, you know?
Yeah.
There's a house, there's lodging. You know what I mean? Someone is comfortable, is able to be sheltered from the rain and everything else. It provides security, you know? But other than that, you have to pay to make sure that everything is useful on this land. So if it doesn't derive value, then what is it? It's a liability. So how do you own a liability? I'm just saying, how do you own a liability?
No, you have to let it go.
You don't even own your children.
Exactly. Okay.
But
Who owns
but
the
none of
kids?
none
Who
of the
owns
land.
the kids?
No one.
Okay.
They own themselves. They're their own people. They're their own individuals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're all God's children.
True
It's like
that.
it's all God's land.
How do you know that you don't have children of your own?
Okay. You know, that's one I find the most ridiculous thing to say to someone.
Yeah.
As if you need to have children of your own to understand
Yeah.
how it is to be a child. As if we weren't all children.
Okay.
You know,
Okay,
I
let's
spent
move on.
I spent 17
Let's move on.
17 years of my life as a child.
Let's
You
move
know, so
on.
like I know
know
what's
how it is.
good for children. You know, I
Yeah.
spent it with other children. You know, learning from other children, and so you know, also at the same time, not having children is also like one of those things that's like it's a convenience thing. It's like I just didn't have the time
I
to
feel
have
you.
children the way I want to
feel
have
you.
children, because
Yeah.
I don't want to have children and then pass them on to some institution to educate them and indoctrinate them to hate me.
So what? What are you saying?
I'm just saying, you take your kids to their schools.
Yeah. Would
and
you homeschool?
And then you wonder why your kids call you stupid.
So would you homeschool?
I need to teach my kids.
Really?
Why would I why would I allow? Do you know what white women did to me?
Yeah.
They sent me to psychologists when I was 4 years old. Told my mother that there's something wrong with me mentally. Told my mother that I couldn't focus. Told my mother I was too smart. They needed to slow me down my brain activity. They wanted to feed me with drugs. Luckily, I was saved by another white woman who said, no, take herbal medication. When I went to high school, they flied me with these drugs that, like, debilitate your mind. It's like crack. You understand? They try to put me in a system where now I'm addicted to these drugs
Yeah.
because my mother is scared. Because white people told her that something's wrong with her son. And that her son might not have a proper adulthood. He might not get a proper education. He might end up being a failure in life if she doesn't feed him these drugs that are going to control him, that are going to tame him. So then, you know, I was having anxiety attacks. I had to go see another psychiatrist one day, but this time I was 18 years old. And then when I'm seeing the psychiatrist asked me the most revolutionary question I've ever been asked in my life up to that point. Do you consent to taking this medication? And I
Because
was
what?
like-
Because you were 18 at that point.
And I was like, what? Do I consent to taking? I've never consented.
Before, yeah.
I never ever consented.
Consented to it, yeah.
Not in the first place. Not when I was 4 years old. When I was too young to understand what they were doing to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I said no. And that was it. They never drugged me again. They never controlled my mind again. You know, they never tamed me. They never stopped my brilliance ever again. They tried to kill me as a kid from the age of 4.
Imagine, bro.
I can't believe it.
Imagine.
They tricked my mother. They made her scared of me. My mother's still scared of me
Until
Even
now.
right now.
because
Oh, wow.
she can't understand. You know, I think for myself. You know, and so they turned even our parents against us. They turned us against our parents. You know, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
And
Can imagine.
they're doing it right now all the time. I see it all the time. They've got it. Every kid, every black child has got ADHD.
I was about to ask.
If you're a black
yeah.
boy, you got ADHD. Why? Because your teachers are white women and they can't control these little black boys. And these white women control our black mothers, tell our black mothers what to do with us, how much to drug us, where to beat us. So we're drugged, we're incarcerated after school, we sit in detention all the time because of behavior. You know, we don't get cognitive behavioral therapy or anything of the sort. We just
Carry on.
get put into detention because, it's going to fix you if you write lines. If you write, I'm a terrible student 100 times, maybe you might believe it and then end up choosing a life of crime or something else that might be better for you since you're such a loser. You know? So it's just been very difficult to find one's place, one's meaning, one's identity, you know? And it's taken me up to my 30s to understand that there's a war on black men. I drive a Mercedes-Benz. I get stopped by every single traffic cop.
Why is that?
I don't drink.
Set you.
I don't have an expired whatever. But they need to stop me because they need to get something out of me. There's that expectation. So now, my dream car is a prison. I hate it. I spent R500,000 on it. And I'm stuck inside it. Now I need to hide myself inside my car.
Yeah.
Even being Nota, being the famous Nota, and they know you, but they still.
Well, it's nicer now that they know me.
Okay.
But do I have to always be inconvenienced? Do I have to be treated like a criminal?
No.
And this is by fellow black police.
You know?
And
so,
and funny enough, on Twitter, is it yesterday when some white lady bombed your car?
Yeah.
And you know, as I was reading through it, I thought like, oh wow, let me see what has happened here. And then he said, no, I hugged her, and the lady goes smelling like a.
I sent her back to her husband's, smelling like a nigger.
Wow.
I was with Lekao,
Okay.
the guy who owns Drip.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wasn't wearing cologne, as you can smell. I'm not wearing even cologne right now, but Lekao had a really strong cologne, so it was even on me.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this woman a hug with this cologne. By the time she gets home.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
They're going to wonder why she was out.
and fuel is up again, dude. Do you think this fuel price thing is still a Ukraine and a Russia thing? You know.
You know, it's not even about the fuel. It's like it only matters when white people are dying. That's the saddest thing. It's not that I don't care about the war in Ukraine, but there's a war going on right now. There's 70 black men that will die in South Africa today. 70 black men will die in South Africa tomorrow. 40,000 black men will die in this country this year.
Yeah.
We can talk about how trans lives matters. We can talk about the gender-based violence and everything else. But I don't know a rapist, personally. That amongst my friends, my family, you know. But if I watch the TV, if I see the news, all of us are rapists as black men. Because it's only black men that are capable of that. And no one cares that black men die. Like, at alarming rates. Whether it be by suicide, whether it be through the violence and everything. It's like South Africa's a war zone. More black men die a year in South Africa than Arab men die in Afghanistan. A war zone. You know? So I'm supposed to
That's crazy.
be crying
Over Ukraine and Russia when you've got bigger problems here.
you know?
Yeah.
They're bombing my brothers in Somalia. Right? They're bombing our brothers in Yemen. You know? There's wars going on right there. It's causing a migrant crisis. You know? They say 6 billion rands has left South Africa into terrorist hands in Somalia. It's just opposition parties. It's just people who believe in socialism and communism, opponents of the West. But now we must be told that they're terrorists. So now as South Africans, we must be fearful that we are helping support terrorists whenever we go to the local store. you know. So now we must look at our own brothers like enemies,
Like enemies.
but have sympathies for Ukraine. I'm sorry.
Okay. I get
can't
you.
be bothered.
In short.
In short,
So you were trending in Zim the past 3-4 days with regards to that little clip from the podcast that made you were trending, bro, like for days.
Well, I hope that what I was saying was like resonating with people.
Yeah, they did
because
say.
they could tell that it comes from an empathetic person.
Yeah, I think 80%
Yeah,
of the people were like,
20%
yeah,
is
no
ZANU-PF.
lies detected. Oh wow, no lies detected there. No lies detected there. But then I just wanted us to briefly get into that notion of, you know, Zimbos are unpatriotic and they are not united. From your experience,
From
I
my
wanted us to-
observation.
yes, observation. Okay.
So I think it was 1999 or 98 when I picked up my first 10 Zim dollar note.
Yeah,
Right?
the red one.
No, it was green.
Green.
Yeah,
It
that's
was now
red.
the green.
No, it was still green back in 90s.
The first one was green.
Green. It was green. It had
okay.
The one with the
it has the
rhino.
rocks. It had rocks in a pile.
And a rhino right on the other
I
side.
think so.
Yeah.
But it had rocks.
I'm
like-
revealing my age, but oh wow.
Is that it
So-
had a rhino on the other side? Eh?
So I'm not sure. But all I know is that I kept it, right?
Yeah,
I kept
yeah.
it. I kept it.
Where did you pick it from?
Rhema Church.
Okay.
Oh.
I went to
Alright.
Rhema Church. So in Rhema Church, it was very like everyone from like we even had our church mates. They were from Zambia,
Okay.
and I think the father had some business troubles and he was stuck in Zambia and everything else. So they stayed at our house for like a couple of months as well. Like one of my childhood friends when I was in primary school, Ramadan Alhaj Ramadan Mwenesi. He's from Kenya. I grew up in Fourways, so like the environment, I saw a lot of people from Zim.
Okay.
So in Fourways, it was only the rich people from Zim that
Okay.
I was ever exposed to. So
Yeah.
I only got to ever see like the Zim elite,
Okay.
you know. And then like over time, that's when I started to see, okay, fine, a lot more of Zim is coming to South Africa.
Yeah.
Now it's the low-skilled people. It's people coming in for waiting jobs, whatever. Beggars on the streets,
Yeah.
everything. And then I realized that, you know, the situation is not getting better for the poorer Zimbabweans in South Africa
Yeah.
because those with money are not taking care of their own brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And then I realized that actually there's like a cultural divide and a tribal divide within Zim. And the ones who are in the low-skilled works are mostly the Ndebele people. And the ones who are in the higher other Shona groups, the Kalangas and all the Shona groups. So then it was like, okay, fine. There was somewhat of an attitude of like, but the Ndebele ones can assimilate better from a language perspective with, you know.
South Africans. Yeah. Yeah.
So there was a mass drive to basically integrate the poorest Zimbabweans with the poorest South Africans,
Okay.
and then making them sitting ducks and making them basically compete for opportunities amongst those South Africans who've got the least access to opportunities. You know what I mean? It's like putting sardines in a river filled with piranhas. You know?
Yeah.
Like, why would you put a situation like, why would you do that? You know? And there was no intervention from especially the more resourced people from Zimbabwe within this country. You know, it's not like we don't see Liquid Telecom banners
Yeah.
all over South
everywhere.
Africa.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And we need to be more. We can't be celebrating these billionaires and millionaires if the conditions that we're living in really are still deplorable and they're keeping quiet. It means that they're benefiting. They're eating from our
From it.
suffrage. You know what I mean? Strive Master is going to switch off Twitter when it's election time. Why? Because he's going to be told to do so. And he's going to act like he's not interfering. But you can't get Twitter without Econet.
Exactly. Yeah.
They work hand in hand.
And,
Yeah.
So that's-
and you don't have competition for Econet.
Nothing.
And why don't you have competition?
Well, there is 2-3 other service providers who are in competition.
No.
You mean they're not as big
They're
as
not competition.
Econet? Okay.
What I'm saying
They're just
to
there.
you, what I'm saying to you is this: is that there's no competition for Coca-Cola. You walk into the garage, all the fridges are Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
The Volpre is Coca-Cola. The Powerade is Coca-Cola. The Fuse iced tea is Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola is Coca-Cola. The Fanta, the Sprite is all Coca-Cola. You can choose from various Coca-Cola products. And then you got one fridge on the side which has got Dragon and
Monster, Red Bull.
And the rest. Yeah.
and whatever,
Yeah.
and all those energy drinks. Monsters, Coca-Cola. Play is Coca-Cola.
Oh, okay.
Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
these are small players. Just like baby formula in the United States. I think you've heard that there's baby formula shortages.
Shortage, yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Because they encouraged monopolies through their laws. What happened is that certain baby formula producers bid to provide the government with baby formula that's being provided for free. So let's say Abbott Labs, the same guys who make our COVID tests. Abbott Labs provides for the state of Pennsylvania, right? They provide the free, right? Which the government buys for the feeding schemes, right? Then because of the quantity that they order, they also provide the one that's sold throughout, right? And then different packages package it, but it's the same
Same thing.
manufacturer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the different packages package it and, add a markup. Now, there's a problem at Abbott Labs. Abbott Labs has to shut down because 2 babies have died. There's some contagion, some contamination. So the second company gets put in redundancy. Now that second company means that the prices need to now go up. There's less stock because Abbott Labs has shut down. When the prices go up, what does the market do? The market hoards because
They're scared of that shortage.
They're in panic mode.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
which creates a shortage.
shortage? Yeah.
Like
So
what was
then
happening with tissue.
who gets the shortage? The poorest.
The poorest.
The poorest states.
Yeah.
Because the market allocates
Yeah.
based on who's got the most accessibility. So right now, the poorest mothers in the United States have to breastfeed. And they're crying about it.
They have to go
The way
back
the
old
system,
school.
the way the system has taken us over so much, women don't know how to breastfeed.
Wow, that's sad, dude.
And now there's a shortage of formula. So they're losing their minds. Women are going through depression right now because the same way when Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Lebanon go through hyperinflation and men's wealth gets wiped out from their pockets. You wake up in the morning and the money that you're taking to the store cannot buy you the bread that it bought you yesterday. That same depression, the same depression of a mother who cannot feed her child.
Wow.
Next
Okay.
time she's now thinking about having another child, she's going to think of that trauma of the
That
time
she
she couldn't
had.
have baby formula. And she doesn't have baby formula because she's not even expressing breast milk at that point in time. It's a biological thing. Women, their nutrition has changed as well. We're not eating the same type of food.
Yeah.
That mean that we're not lactating the way we should be. And it's this whole entire system.
Yeah.
And what does it do? It produces the billionaires.
Yeah.
True that.
Okay. Going back to my issue.
Yeah.
Going back to Zimbabweans are not united.
Yeah.
I think I really wanted the clarity on, is it in the diaspora, is it back
Everywhere.
home,
Everywhere.
or is it home and diaspora?
Everywhere.
And what's the solution? What do you think is the
Everywhere.
solution?
The
to
solution
this?
is that, Zimbabwean men need to stand up.
Okay.
Men.
Yes.
What
it's-
does standing up mean, Nota?
Because, the thing is this, the world has confused us.
Yeah.
Women are not heads of households.
Yeah.
It's not a controversial thing. I marry you. I give you children.
Yeah.
I die. He marries you. He gives you more children.
And
There's
you
no
head of
loyalty.
the family. Oh wow, Nota. Oh wow.
I marry you because of sexual exclusivity.
Yeah.
I know that I'm marrying you because by putting this ring on your finger, I know
Yes.
that you will not betray me with another man.
Okay.
Right? That is
Yes.
your value.
Okay. Oh, wow.
That is your value to me. That is your value to me.
Okay.
I watch
Let me hear
YouTube.
this.
I see women. They talk about, no, I want 50,000 rand boyfriend allowance, 450,000 rands. I see those women. They are the ones that are being desired,
Yeah.
but they're giving themselves away for a price. I know that they've got no exclusivity.
Yeah.
If I marry her or whatever, someone else with a bigger bag will
come
take her.
and- yeah.
So she's got no value.
Okay.
What does that do to all other women who look like them, dress like them, and these are the women that are put in the model?
Mm-hmm.
In the mind of a man, women have no value. Because for a man like me, like, I can afford to give this 50,000 rand
Yeah.
allowance.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to give a woman an allowance to be with me. I'm not going to pay her.
Mm.
You understand? Then you're
Yeah.
my slave.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't value you.
Mm.
So we're training women to devalue themselves to men for money. So women are running around, prancing around, saying, hey, we don't have value, we don't have value, we don't have value, we don't have value. We've got a price.
I come with a price.
Because they don't have a value. You know the price of everything but the value of nothing.
Yeah.
Jay-Z. So, that is something that I've seen as well in Zimbabweans.
Mm.
They now have a price. And the thing is that it's been beaten into them with the repression. There's these pastors who go on to Instagram, shows money, spends 1.2 million rand at a bar or whatever. There's Zimbabweans that are starving, suffering, don't have representation, don't have legal representation, don't have lawyers, abused at work and everything else. And then there's other fellow Zimbabweans that are spending 1.2 million rand on liquor and then saying, praise the Lord.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Also, jumping into that, Nota, what do you think is, the relationship with, all the things that are happening in Zim and religion? Okay, not Zim only, but, Africa. How
Southern Africa.
Yeah.
Southern Africa is the most religious region.
In Africa.
And mostly Christian.
Okay.
South Africa is the most religious country in the continent.
Really?
And mostly Christian. In fact, it's the most predominantly Christian country on the continent. So, I think the problem isn't religion. I think the problem is repression and desperation.
Yeah.
Anything can be a new religion when people are this desperate.
Sure.
People are looking for a miracle.
Yeah.
Look at the great factories of Bulawayo.
Yeah. Yeah.
People used to work there.
Yeah.
Now they pray for miracles
Yeah.
in the same factories where they used to have jobs.
Jobs. Yeah.
They're mega
They don't even understand
Yeah.
what has happened.
Happened. Yes.
Instead of going there Monday to Friday to earn a living for themselves, they go there every Sunday for snake oil and miracles. They've given up on themselves. And that's what we're seeing. It's that Christianity is the religion of the slaves. That's what it comes from the Roman Empire.
Okay.
It was to keep them obedient, to make them endure suffering and feel like, God has put them on this earth so that they can suffer. And once they've endured the suffering, he will reward them with heaven in the afterlife. Right?
Yeah.
So with that said, it seems like we are willing to accept our conditions because of how
Religion.
faithfully we believe in our religion. And we haven't transcended. We haven't reached the book of Exodus.
Okay. Oh, wow.
We are still stuck.
in Genesis.
You understand? We are still stuck.
You're still stuck.
We're
In
still
there.
stuck. You know what I mean? And we're waiting for the Joshua generation. It's gonna lead us out of the wilderness. You know what I mean?
Into the promised land.
Into the promised land. But I mean, like, even then, that journey was a 40-year journey.
Wow.
But we're 42 years old, aren't we? In Zim.
Yeah,
We're 42.
In Zim, actually, the main opposition party, that's their mantra, right?
Really?
They are saying, we are the Kenyan generation. We are leading, you know, Zimbabwe into the new promised land.
Nah, there's no hope. You saw there was supposed to be a Zim boycott, a shutdown.
Yeah.
On the 9th of May. It didn't happen.
Yeah. It's never going to happen.
At the end of the day, you can see that foreign forces are at work. The rallies look very nice, very well funded, very well sponsored. I mean...
You reckon? For the opposition, that is.
I'm just saying. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a businessman. I built myself from nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think Chamisa has got my credentials. So, just observing.
Just observing.
It's like, where does that money come from? You know what I mean? And this is how the world works. It's proxies. There are people that install leaders all the time. Foreign money comes in. ZANU-PF seems like it's scrambling for a lot of foreign money. They've let the Swiss in now, going to be cultivating cannabis in your land. That's what they do.
Yeah. So do you think pragmatism where politics becomes irrelevant? Because I see with a lot of young people, they're just so disinterested with politics because they've been let down. So do you think, pragmatism and, just walking away from politics and actually having leaders put in on merit is actually the way? Or it's far-fetched?
Nah, pragmatism is useless. Discontent is what has caused all the change that we've seen in the world. People who are unhappy with the current condition. I'm unhappy with the current condition because I know who benefits from it and who suffers from it. I suffer from it. I'm a black man. You know what I mean? We're the ones who suffer the most because at the end of the day, if we can't provide, we can't give security, then we can't be respected by black women. And therefore, if we cannot be respected by black women, we cannot raise strong black families.
So
and who dies?
Our
children die. Our generation of children die because the mothers don't respect the fathers. The children don't respect their fathers. They grow up to be men who can't be respected by their daughters, who grow up to not respect their husbands, who grow up to be fathers of children who don't respect them. And the cycle continues.
So you're saying
and
the
then
basis...
little white girls are well protected.
So the basis is financial.
Little white girls are the safest.
In the world.
Like, if a little white girl gets touched, the world burns.
All hell breaks loose.
You understand what I'm saying? Touch a black girl, and why? Because black men have no value. And if black men have no value, neither do their daughters.
Wow. Have you seen the new Kendrick Lamar
album?
Album, yeah.
Yeah, Drake is dead. I'm glad that Kendrick Lamar came with that album. I'm tired of all this nonsense. Future,
he was probably in the
City
same
Girls.
thought process, right?
Yeah, he's been feeding exactly. That's exactly what we needed. Exactly what we needed, And he exposed them. I was watching a video by like one of these LGBTQ activists. His name is what is this? Damn it! I need to skip backwards. Woo!
Just in case those videos will come out.
No.
It's
I needed to skip backwards and I think my Wi-Fi was off. Who's this guy? Peter Thatchell. So he says that he got his definition for the discrimination that gay, bisexual, and lesbians face by looking at the civil rights movement. So he assimilated the discrimination of minority and black groups and said that gay people need to be recognized as a discriminated against minority.
Okay.
So basically he said, fuck the struggle for black people. Let's make sure that white men can fuck other white men in peace.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Wow.
And
Oh, wow.
and since then, our struggle has come second.
to sexual rights.
They've never had a Disney month for black cartoons. Black History Month, cartoons, whatever. What's happening with Disney right now? They've got campaigns on social media. It's Pride Month for kids. Now it must be Kids Pride.
Yeah.
We've never had Black History Month for Disney. We've got Kids Pride Month. What bullshit is that? Now, I'm not saying that gay people shouldn't have rights. What I'm saying is that only gay people have rights right now.
Not black people as well. Shouldn't be a shared struggle, I think.
Because the struggle is for the rights of white men. That is the truth. They've got the power. And we cannot say anything because we are being labeled as homophobic. Just in the same way they use xenophobia to actually disguise what is happening, where black Africans are being enslaved in their own countries, and they're allowing the situation to happen in Zimbabwe so they can extract cheap labor from Zimbabwe, and not doing anything, not intervening when they could intervene. They've got all the means to intervene. You know? And at the end of the day, who suffers? And then they call the people who are poor people, you know, who are struggling, who are trying to survive, and they call them names. And these people are just protesting because they've got no other means to address those in power. You understand? Trevor Manuel is the chairman of Old Mutual. Old Mutual is the largest shareholder of Prime Media. Trevor Manuel has a problem with JJ Tabane. Right?
One will be good, yeah.
One journalist
Yeah.
on e-media. He's got a problem with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
Tabane.
He's got a problem with JJ Tabane. So where does he go? He goes to Prime Media, breakfast show. He's the chairman of the biggest shareholder of Prime Media. Goes to the breakfast show, and then he says, no, okay, fine, JJ Tabane did ABCD. He slandered my brand. So he's abusing his power. He's abusing his position. You understand? All because JJ Tabane said no, he was part of the formation of COPE and whatever. At the end of the day, the ANC split. And these guys resigned from their positions. And by resigning from their positions and everything else, and by enforcing that sort of split, they created the conditions for COPE to emerge from the split. And he was part of that. He played a very active role in that whole entire thing. He was part of ANC. Every member of the ANC was part of the formation of COPE. Whether they were part of it by forming COPE, or they were part of it by,
But yeah.
opposing
it, yeah.
They were still part of the
they were part of it. They were all part of the formation. It's a splinter group. That's what it emanates from something. So there's no way he can deny that. But why is he going to at such lengths over something that was said on a podcast that we've already forgotten about?
COPE.
What
It's
does it
done,
do?
yeah.
COPE is done.
Yeah.
It's done,
Yeah.
He's
trying
the
to
chairman
prove a
of Old
point?
Mutual and everything else. Why is he trying to get into the media? And
When is
again,
enough? When is enough enough?
again,
It's
you look
never
at
enough.
it's never enough. And
It's
then
never enough.
And then you've got Peter Moyo. Is it Peter Moyo?
From Zim,
From Zim, yeah.
The former
The
CEO.
former CEO of Old Mutual.
Why was he fighting to be CEO when they don't want him? You're gonna go to court, and they don't want you. They don't want you. You're forced to be CEO. Why?
He
What are you
lost
fighting
a lot
for?
of money. He lost-
Why is all your money derived from you being a CEO? It means that you're not a businessman. You don't have value.
Yeah.
I don't need no corporate job.
But maybe he
I'm
did.
like that. Damn! How did he become a CEO if he needs a corporate job? They're just giving people CEOs because they're black and they've got some qualification at a university. Nah, man. University doesn't mean that you've actually learned anything. You've built anything of value. It just means that you can follow a train of thought.
Okay.
That's it.
Did you go to varsity?
I did. I dropped out 3 times.
Really?
I
what
was
were
an
you
entre-
studying?
I studied entrepreneurship,
Okay.
but I was doing it So I was like, okay, fine, I can self-study these textbooks.
Yeah.
And then I did brand building and management at Vega.
Okay.
And the only thing that I enjoyed was the philosophy class.
Okay.
So I then said, okay, I'm just going to study philosophy all on my own after that. And then I went to IMM to try and do marketing management. And then I got the textbook so I could self-study.
Wow, Nota.
So I self-studied everything. You know what I mean? I went there, I got the textbooks, I paid the school fees, I self-studied. And then I actually did it.
All right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then one day, like, I executive produced a music video for Spirit. And then it became part of the lectures in all those institutions that I dropped out of.
Okay.
My work was what they were being lectured in. In AFDA,
So
in Wits Business School.
You implemented it all on Spirit with Wale.
I'm just saying.
He's not bragging. He's just saying.
I'm just saying. I went from the
Just throwing
student
it in
to
there.
being the
Just
lecturer,
know.
not the lecturer.
The lecture.
The lecture. I'm the lesson.
Wow.
I'm the
Bars
testament.
dropped.
You know what I mean? So like.
I'm the whole lecture. Oh wow.
Yeah, but
wow.
my older sister got 2 master's degrees and a PhD.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your opinion on that?
I mean, like academics. Like, you know,
Not your portion.
we need more of them, right?
Yeah. So that we can have more CEOs.
So we can have more people who think they know everything.
I'm offended because I'm one, but it's okay.
Look,
It's okay, Nota.
look, academics,
okay?
academics. You guys have done a lot for the world, but I mean, right now you're doing the most damage
Oh wow.
because people's opinions matter more because of their academic qualifications than the application of their skills in certain facets right now.
But shouldn't there be a balance, of the academia and also the practical side?
So
There should be.
Let me put it to you like this, right? Because of academics and the study, right?
Yeah.
Barack Obama, knowing that academics are going to use any excuse to study certain fields, banned gain-of-function research for all NATO nations in 2013, the same year that they managed to get this bat virus to be, sequenced into something that could infect human beings, later. It's a biological weapon, just like MERS, the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, MERS. It was made in the Middle East. It was released in the Middle East as a chemical weapon, a biological weapon. So NATO then moves all their biological weapons labs, where they do their gain-of-function research, to the only country that didn't ratify the agreement to end gain-of-function research, which is China, through a company called EcoHealth, which is owned by Peter Daszak, the owner of Lancet, the guys who do the labs, do all the testing.
Lancet Laboratories.
And funded.
It's what? It's the
Peter
guy's
Daszak.
from. Where is he from?
Lancet. He's from the Nordic countries. He's either from Norway or something. Peter Daszak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's from Europe.
Yeah.
NATO. It's from NATO. NATO
Okay.
nations. America, Europe, Britain. And then they move all their research to the Wuhan lab because Barack Obama, thank goodness, after everything he did to sell us out, at least that one thing he did covers for everything else.
That he did wrong.
He did because he had no choice. He was part of the system, and that system would have kicked him out if he didn't do what he was supposed to do. He tried his best. You know what I mean? So now these guys go to China, and then China, because this lab is funded by EcoHealth, funded by Bill Gates, funded by Peter Daszak and everything else. Yes, they've got their doctors and everything else, right? But it's a NATO lab, that Wuhan virology lab, so they allowed it to leak. And yes, they searched the wet market knowing that it leaked out of the lab. They searched the wet market knowing that it doesn't come from there. They searched it for 6 months. There's a lab up the road, and nobody was allowed to ask, why don't we check that lab? Because we're not virologists, us. We don't have a qualification, us, as people. So our common sense right now is stupid. How dare we even ask such a dumb question? How could it have leaked from the lab?
From the lab.
Of course, yes, we must search this wet
The
market.
wet market, yeah.
We searched the wet market, nothing. But still, we're not searching the lab.
So you're not vaccinated yourself?
I am. I'm double vaxxed.
Okay.
I'm double vaxxed. I'm not boosted.
Okay.
But you were vaxxed.
Yeah, no, I am vaxxed because,
So
I
you
needed
think
to.
it was a biological...
It is a biological weapon. It is a biological weapon. I didn't vax because they created Omicron in South Africa. Because we're
By create, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, it didn't mutate from anything.
Okay.
There's no evidence that it mutated from the original virus. And we saw that the other ones did mutate. The alpha, the beta, the gamma, delta, all those variants, they mutated from the same original strain, from the same original genome, right? This one did not mutate. Now, we know that there was no zoonotic escape. That first one did not come from an animal and then infect humans, right? We know that it comes from that lab, okay? We know that it comes from the Wuhan virology lab.
I don't know.
It's the China virus. Trump told us,
Yeah.
okay? And that's why they shut him out and kicked him out, Yeah. But at least he could tell us that. Everything is confidential. He couldn't tell us exactly the information, but he said China. That's all you need to know. China, right? But it wasn't the China virus. It was the NATO virus. Because that's NATO's lab. And that's why NATO covered up the whole entire thing. That's why Peter Daszak went there and flew there with Professor Tedros and whatever, the WHO, which is funded by who? Bill Gates. Why? Because Donald Trump pulled out the funding. So why did Donald Trump pull out the funding from the States? To expose that it's Bill Gates that's funding this whole entire thing. It's Bill Gates that's playing these germ games. Bill Gates that's creating these viruses, thinks that we're Norton. We're software. He needs to create an antivirus package for us, and vaccinate us every single year. So they're realizing that people are not taking this vaccination.
Okay.
So they needed to create a weaker variant that will also help us have antibody protection, T-cell antibody protection. And the only country where there's a crisp lab on the African continent is
South Africa.
So where does the Omicron variant get identified?
South Africa.
How?
I don't know.
Oh my word.
I
No.
don't know.
What? It's
I
a conspiracy.
don't know.
There's
I
no
don't
way.
know about
Are you
that.
telling me that wait, out of all the countries in the world where the Omicron could have been
Discovered.
it happens to be in a country where it can be made?
I don't know.
What a coincidence.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Oh my goodness. How much did Bill Gates spend on those labs in Durban?
Wow.
Just before that. Why was he playing tennis in South Africa?
Oh yeah, that match.
The CRISPR lab.
It was him.
Yes, him and Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah. Yeah.
Yes, obviously Trevor Noah is his media guy. That's his court jester. So Trevor Noah is his best buddy.
Was
You understand?
that just before the COVID?
Yeah, and then you saw Trevor Noah doing Nkau Temple on Bill Gates' yacht when he was in Cape Town.
Yeah, you saw that with
Okay.
That's a nice yacht, eh? Hey,
beautiful.
it's nice to be friends with Bill Gates.
Right. Dude, what's your take on Robert Mugabe though?
Bob,
I'm waiting to hear this one.
Yeah.
Bob's biggest mistake was that he thought Grace could overcome Ed and the rest of ZANU. That was like a grave miscalculation. But I think for me, it's just it's sad that he didn't think that it's going to be tragic after everything he sacrificed, that people are going to piss on his grave. You know? He has to be exhumed, moved, taken from this place to that place.
I was, if I could throw in, I was just so sad that, after that whole Heroes Acre, which I'm so fond of because it fascinates me.
Going to all the school trips.
Yes, I think it was
The monument.
I think it was brilliant. And then, you're not there. You are the full stop to the whole
That's it,
story.
yeah.
Hit the nail.
And he says,
and I'm like, no, you can't.
I don't want to be buried there.
Yeah, I'm like, how? I think that was the only issue. I actually have a video that trended because I'd gone before, and when he was like still
But
alive 2 years before. I was
why
like,
would he be buried next to the blood of his own hands?
who is?
Heroes Acre.
I refuse to comment.
I'm just saying.
I refuse.
A lot of those heroes
I
there
refuse.
went with nice funerals.
Mm.
Their families were compensated.
Have you been though, Nota?
No, I haven't been.
You should.
For the sake that, they wouldn't be political opponents or liabilities in future. So I don't know. I don't think that
Forgive my
he would.
ignorance, but that makes me sad.
Yeah, no,
Anyway.
but no, like it is sad. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
But this is what we need to see. This is what our African leaders need to see. Is that this is how you'll be remembered in your death. Your bones will be shuttled around like you went a national hero. Like the airport is not named after you. So that's another thing. I mean, like, you look at the statue of Joshua Nkomo.
In Bulawayo.
Umdala wethu. It's fondness.
Yeah.
It's remembered fondly.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between Robert Mugabe.
Father of the nation.
You understand?
Yeah.
There's no one that's got anything sad or disparaging to say about him, except for he was stabbed in the back, he was betrayed. He was too gullible a bit, or too trusting. Let's just put it that way. So, I mean, that's the punishment. That's what hell is. Hell is how you're remembered when you're gone.
You say that you died 2 times.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
The day you die and the last time they say your name.
Okay.
I mean, that is your final death, because I mean, a lot of people die, or a lot of people are dead, but we still say their names. So that's it. And if people hold you fondly or anything else, if like Robert Mugabe had a book that people go to and they read and stuff like that, and then hundreds of years from now, people will still read that book. I mean, people still read Hitler's Mein Kampf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a book by Robert Mugabe?
No.
Not by him.
Not that we
but
celebrate.
Yeah.
You understand? But I'm just saying, there's nothing that he left behind except for bitterness, anger, discontent, false promises, false hope. It's like the dad that promised to buy you the world.
Yeah.
That
is still your dad.
That's the thing. That's the thing. But other dads actually bought the world. You understand?
Yeah. I'm just being politically.
You can't change your dad.
Just being politically
but he's still your dad.
safe.
No, but he's still your dad. He's still your dad. No. So I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
The situation right now is that we don't have leaders that actually understand how to be kings. And that's the saddest thing, because that's what we need in Africa. We need kings. Because the political system is not working. It's not going to work.
By that, do you mean like proper monarchy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need kings.
Subscribe to that a bit. Yeah.
Can I tell you why?
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Because the current system is steal as much as you can for 5 years and then hope that you've stolen enough to re-elect yourself for another 5.
Yeah.
And then if you re-elect yourself for another 5, hope that you've stolen enough
for you,
to keep you from
for you to
prosecution
survive.
afterwards.
Yeah.
So there's no incentive to lead and give people service, because when you're not in leadership, you're unable to steal. And therefore you suffer. And therefore you endure. And you must be only enduring so that one day you'll have the opportunity to steal. So is that like a proper political solution? No. I'd rather give King Mswati what he needs, right?
Yeah.
And then say to King Mswati, let me tell you something. If you don't take care of us, my grandchildren, I'm going to make sure your grandchildren go through hell. So take care of me, and my grandchildren will take care of your grandchildren. You understand?
And he's not going to sit there as if, he's got a limited time period and I've got to take as much as I can. Now it's my chance.
I got to take
eat.
and take care of everyone so that people don't look at my grandchildren and think that we must kill them. You understand what I'm saying? That's the only system that actually works.
No, I think monarchy for now.
You know what I mean?
Just for a period in Africa.
Not even for a period, forever. No, let's pay them, the monarchy, to take care of things, to take care of affairs, for political stability. Then we know, because at the end of the day, we don't want to run the country. We just want to do what we're doing. We want a podcast. We want a podcast.
Yeah, we're just
going to
go about our lives.
We just want to, we don't want to have to worry about this stuff. Like, why do they have to make us run the country?
And vote.
Like why? Like, why can't you guys just do what you're supposed to do? Govern, make sure that everything's nice. You know what I mean? And then, in peace. I know what you mean. We wouldn't be bothering you, toying, protesting if you guys just did your jobs. If you guys just did your jobs, we wouldn't protest. Like, can politicians not get that? If they did their jobs, there'd be no protests. Oh my God. Is that like not revolutionary? So why don't they just do their jobs? Why is there no incentive to do their job? Because there's no incentive to do their job, because it's not about doing their job. Right now, the Arts and Culture Minister of South Africa is trying to build a monument. He's doing his job.
Yeah, it's been
He's doing his job.
On Twitter,
but because his job and him doing his job is not popular right now, he's being stopped from doing his job. So he can't do his job right now. Because, no, we don't like what you're doing.
22 million, dude, for a flag.
It's a monument. It's a flag monument. That flag is a very beautiful flag.
But
it's probably one of the most recognizable flags in the world, other than the Star Spangled Banner.
No, not now. Not now.
The South African flag?
No, I'm saying it is, but then the 2 million price
what is
tag
22 million on a steel monument? It's a steel monument, right, that is going to be erected. It's a work of art. It's 22 million. Come on. You can sell 22 million NFTs and make that money back very quickly.
True.
The tourism that it's going to bring, come on. People are going to go to that monument park because there's heroes there, there's statues and everything, and no one visits there. This is by the Union buildings. We can have concerts there because it's public land, and we can bring school kids to come and see that. We can have artists that are performing there.
Okay, if you put it like that.
But the thing is, who's putting it? It's the stupid idiot of Natim Tetra who's like, he's a failed minister. The job of the minister is to get political buy-in from the public.
Exactly.
He can't articulate this great program. And because they've put someone who's politically inept in that position, merely so that he can fail in the public.
He was once at police, right?
It doesn't matter. He's not part of the slate that's supposed to go forward. So he's in his prominent position right now so he can fail in public so that he can be voted out in December. So there's no incentive to put someone in there who will do their job. There's an incentive to put someone in there who will not be a liability when it's time to vote. Do you see why we need kings?
Yeah, of course. We need an absolute power,
You understand? Because if there was a real king, they would have sliced off Natim Tetra's head already.
Of all the South African politicians that we have right now,
all of them are useless. All of them are
useless.
All of them are useless. Not one. Every single one is useless.
Really?
Okay.
The only person who's got any ability to actually lead is Nhlanhla Lux.
Okay.
That's
For
crazy.
real?
Okay.
Yeah. That's the only person who's actually led.
You do know that
Without a
you're
machinery.
on a Zim podcast, right?
Zim loves Nhlanhla Lux.
They don't.
You're stepping in our garden.
Never.
They don't.
You're
No, they
stepping in our
do.
garden.
The thing is that you cannot be brainwashed by the same media that brainwashes you guys in Zim. You know what the media does in Zim. They're brainwashing. They're doing the same thing here. They're brainwashing you to hate a guy like Nhlanhla Lux. Nhlanhla Lux is not saying anything other than it's time to fight for Zimbabwe.
Okay.
That's all he's saying. It's time to fight for Zimbabwe, and that means that it's not time to be comfortable, because what's happening right now is that the burden of the impoverished and desperate Zimbabweans cannot be thrown on the poor, desperate South Africans, because that's what's happening, and that is the bone of contention. That is the conflict. Because if you look at Zimbabweans who work and live in the affluent areas in South Africa, there's no problem there.
Yeah, true.
Because they are providing cheap labor. Do you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas in these other communities, they are competing. You know, and there's going to be unhappiness. And anyone who says that there shouldn't be unhappiness is ridiculous. You're stupefying those people. You're telling them that their genuine concerns are something that is to be ignored because they're savages, they're brainless, they can't think for themselves, and all they think is that their black brothers must be slaughtered. And they're not slaughtering their black brothers. You understand? So, Lux is able to climb into leadership and prominence by leading his community in the middle of an insurrection when the government is failing, the army is failing. They sent the army through the streets. The army killed someone in his own yard. Just a couple months earlier.
Alex.
A year earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Just
but
a year
there's
earlier.
also the Elvis Nyati issue with, you know,
But
with Nhlanhla Lux and him.
what did Nhlanhla Lux have to do with Elvis Nyati? Because Elvis Nyati was a victim of criminals who were looking for him. They were chasing him down. And Deep Sloot is a place like that. It's a dangerous place. It's dog eat dog. You watch, what's this, a Deep City.
I've been to Deep Sloot, I know.
It's a dangerous
haven't
place.
been.
People die all the time. That's the thing. And Elvis Nyati was one of 13 people who had died in the space of 3 months there.
Even when you drive into Deep Sloot, your insurance will call you.
Exactly.
Are you sure you're okay?
So that place is a
Okay.
place where people die.
Okay.
You understand? It's a place where people are killed all the time, and it's black men that are killed. But there's no outrage
By
the
black
fact-
men,
No.
right?
But it's not just by. The thing is this: is that don't do that, because you're a black woman. We are not separate. Killed by your brothers.
Okay.
Don't ever call black men
Okay,
anything
okay.
other than
All
your
right.
brothers.
Okay. By my brother.
You understand what I'm
Okay,
saying?
let's
Because
go.
you are our sisters.
Yeah.
Our job is to protect you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Our job is to ensure that you are safe and protected.
Yeah. Yeah.
And right
But
now, you're not feeling safe and protected
Yeah.
because we have been brutalized. We
Okay.
have been victimized. Not because we don't want to protect you. Not because we don't want to keep you safe. But because there's someone that brutalizes us. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your father
Yeah.
raised you in
Yeah.
a proud house.
Yeah.
But let a white man walk in there and slap your father in the face. You'll see him sit down and do nothing. Now, that trauma is something that lives with your father, whether you see a white man slap him or not. The mere fact that if a white man slaps him, he knows he can do nothing about it. That is trauma. That is like being slapped by a white man every single waking moment. You understand what I'm saying? So, our fathers never had the position of being the head of the household because he knew that he couldn't protect his own family from a white man. He knew that if a white man decided he wanted to provide for his children, he wanted to provide for his wife, the white man could come with his means and take his wife and his children. Everything that is rightfully his when he had his land and everything is now gone. And now he has to be subjected to this industrial system. You look at people from Zimbabwe who were qualified accountants and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And now they're scattered all over the world
Yeah.
as nurses, doing farm work and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Imagine the humiliation
Yeah.
of
No lies
our
detected there, yeah.
ancestors when the Europeans came, when we had our own lands, and then they made what's underneath the land more valuable than what's above the land, which is us.
Wow.
And then they sent us underground to go and dig for what was more valuable than what's above the land. And then they owned our time. And then our kids had no fathers, had no parents, our families had no structure. And our women could not respect us because we abandoned them and hoped that the money would take care of them. The money would provide them with security. Do you understand the job that's been done on us to make us hate each other, hate ourselves? And what happens to the trauma of the woman who was left behind and made to suffer? And
So what is the solution, though?
the solution is that we need to build the black man, the young black man. That's who we need to build. We need to make sure that these boys grow up and are able to protect their sisters. Are able to make sure that their sisters don't get beaten up and raped and everything else. Our only focus needs to be focusing on the black boy. Because the black boy becomes the black man, and the black man is the head of the household. That's what our focus needs to be.